We'll see if YouTube will start. Yeah, weird things are happening here. Weird things are going on. I don't understand what's happening. Okay, now connection is stable. All right, YouTube is reestablished. Okay, I'm going to go to YouTube right now. I don't know what's going on here. Let me go look at YouTube. Wow, that was weird. That was some craziness. Okay, now, no, wait. What is going on? Now there's two of them. I gotta go find. I gotta close that one. Hang on. Let me start this. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, hang on. YouTube. That is weird. Okay, hang on. I gotta open up the YouTube app. Oh, and I just had it open. What am I doing? All right, I thought I was looking at the website and I couldn't fix what I need here. All right, here we go. Let me go here. There's the one of the ones I'm doing. Hang on, let me edit this. Make it private because it doesn't work. All right, got that. All right, I think we got rid of that one. And now this one. No, wait, now I just got rid of the, what just happened? What is going, okay, no, there it is. Okay, wow. Weird things are going on. Okay, my live disappeared on YouTube. I don't know why. Okay, we got that fixed. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to start going, let's do test and do test for 30 minutes. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do test for 30 minutes. We are going to accomplish this episode if it kills me. All right. Okay. Typically, I don't know where our late night audience is. They're not with us tonight. Okay, but that's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. We're going to try this. We're going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Looking at our world from a theological perspective, this is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, July the 2nd, 2026. It is currently 11:13 p.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio located right here in Abilene, Texas. Now, I have the studio lights turned off. I'm sitting here in the dark. The only light that is here is from the computer to my right and an iPad to my left. So there's a little bit of light, but all the studio light itself is completely off. So no one in the neighborhood knows I'm broadcasting because they don't see the studio light on. It's dark. And I know, if you're looking at the title of this episode, you're thinking, oh, I know what he's doing. We're about to take another trip back to 1692. We're about to take a trip back to the narrow streets of Salem Village. Back to the accusations of witchcraft. All of the fear, all of the hysteria. And we're going to once again talk about one of the most infamous chapters in American history, the Salem witch trials. And I could see why you would draw that conclusion based off the title of this episode. I could see why, but not tonight. No. Tonight, I'm going to take you on a different journey. Maybe a surprising journey, hopefully an interesting journey. We're not even going to go to Salem. Well, at least not yet. We're going to go somewhere almost 2.5 centuries later, 2.5 centuries after the Salem witch trials. And we're going to step into a typical American living room on a Sunday night. I don't know if it was a Sunday night to be exact. I would have to look it up. But let's say it was a Sunday night. Maybe it was a Friday night. September the 11th, 1938. I don't know what the day of the week was, but September the 11th, 1938. Now, this is the age of radio. 1938, the age of radio. This is the age of imagination. This is the age when millions of people would gather around a single glowing radio to disappear into another world for 30 unforgettable minutes. And tonight, we're going to find a living room in 1938, and we're going to ask the people, hey, can I join you? Can I join you guys? And we're going to come in and we're going to sit down with whoever the family is. And well, we're going to see what happens. Why my title? And why 1938? Why September the 11th? Why September the 11th, 1938? What happened on that particular evening? Does anyone know? I don't expect anyone to know. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to imagine, and let's just imagine, we'll just call it a Sunday evening, September the 11th, 1938, right? It's hard to maybe picture 1938. You may not be able to picture at least that big radio right there in the living room, right? Supper is over. The dishes have all been washed. The lights in the living room are turned down. We see the father of the family. He's adjusting the antenna on the large wooden radio cabinet. Children are settling in on the floor. Mom takes her favorite chair. And outside, the world continues as always. But inside this particular house on this September the 11th, 1938, another world is about to begin, and you and I are going to step into that world. Now, it's 1938. There's no streaming services. There's no smartphones, no television, just the warm glow of vacuum tubes. Is that a good way to describe it? The soft hum of electricity. And millions of Americans are gathered around a radio in the exact same way. And they're ready to be transported to somewhere else for 30 exciting minutes. It's time for the classic radio drama, The Shadow. The Shadow knows. Now, I don't know how familiar everyone is who listen to this program with classic radio drama. Many nights for a very long time, right now at about 11 p.m. Central Time is when I would open up Sirius XM app, go to Radio Classics, and choose a classic radio drama to listen to. Some nights, it would lead to me falling asleep. Some nights I would still be awake after, but I still love being transported to wherever for 30 minutes, an hour, depending how many classic radio dramas I would listen to. So I have loved classic radio dramas since I was young. First time I discovered them, I think the first one I ever discovered, if I really think back, was The Shadow itself. I think The Shadow was the one that hooked me on classic radio drama. So I have loved them forever. And for a very long time, at 11 p.m. Central Time, I would, choose. Sometimes it would be later. Sometimes it may be even a little earlier. But I try my best to listen to one. Now, for a last little while, I haven't been doing it for a lot of reasons. But I wasn't even thinking about classic radio drama until this afternoon. I got a notification on one of my podcast apps about an episode of The Shadow. And I was like, Then I saw the title, and then I was like, oh, so here we are. It's time for The Shadow. A voice, a mystery, an adventure waiting to unfold. And tonight's episode, The Witch Drums of Salem. Wow. that kind of fits the Theology Central podcast since we have an entire series on the Salem witch trials. So the witch drums of Salem. Now that's all I know. I did not read the description. I did not listen to anything. The only thing I did was verify it's in public domain. And from everything I can find, this episode is in public domain because I didn't want to, do anything incorrect or wrong. So I have the episode. And of course, we'll still be, we'll do it like we always do it, like we do all of our sermon reviews. I'll play some, we'll talk about it, we'll think about it, we'll talk about it. So I don't know. Look, I've never done this with a classic radio drama. So this is the first time, but it's basically, think of it this way. You drove by, you saw that I had the light on in the studio and you're like, hey, can I come up and listen to a classic radio drama? I'm like, sure. Now, we'd have to really know each other and it'd have to work out. But, we have to turn the lights down for a classic, episode of, radio drama. You have to. You can't have the lights on. You've got to turn the lights off for classic radio drama. So that's why I have the lights off. And look, I don't know where the story is going. I don't know. I don't know anything. I just know it's called The Witch Drums of Salem. So if Salem doesn't show up the way I think Salem is going to show up, I don't know. Because I know this, the character of the shadow, he doesn't live in, the 1600s. So how are we going to get to the 1600s? Is it not about Salem? Is it about another Salem? Well, the other Salems are all frauds, so they should get rid of their names. Okay, I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm taking a big gamble here. So I'm setting this all up, but I don't really know exactly what's going to happen. So we're going to experience it together. Just like I do a sermon review. We're going to listen, we're going to stop, we're going to analyze, we're going to critique, we're going to laugh when it's deserved, we're going to be like, oh! We'll be shocked when we need to be shocked. Maybe we'll do some questioning. But I think the main thing we're going to do is we're just going to try to see whether this, 87-year-old radio drama still has the power to entertain, the power to surprise, maybe even the power to get us to have a great discussion. We'll see. So the lights are off in the studio. Or wait, not forget the studio. The lights are off in someone's house in 1938. I don't know whose house it is. It's someone's house in 1938. Where are we at? I don't know. Where do you think we should be? Pick a place. Where should we be in 1938? Maybe we should be in Salem itself. Maybe someone in Salem was listening on September the 1938 to a program called The Witch Drums of Salem. And they were like, oh, this is about us. Okay, I don't know. The radio I think it's warmed up. I think it's ready to go. It's September the 11th, 1938. Let's begin.
You are listening to Old Time Retro Radio. For full access to our archive, visit patreon.com/oldtimeretroradio.
Now, I wanted you to hear that just so that you can look them up and you can listen to all the radio dramas that they have available. It's through them that they did the research and have it labeled as this is in public domain. All right. So I appreciate them doing a little bit of the research. All right, here we go.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Now, I can't speak for you, but the first time I heard that when I was a kid, that scared me to death. I was in a closet somewhere. I don't even know how I was listening to an episode, but when he starts laughing and then who knows the evil that lurks in the hearts of man. The shadow knows. And I'm like, oh, the shadow knows the evil that lurks in the hearts of man. Does he know the evil that... what's evil? I mean, I don't know. I was a kid. I just know he knows. The shadow knows. And you get that laugh and I'm like, ah! Well, no, I don't want you to know. No, listen, no. I didn't mean to steal the cookies. I didn't mean to eat the last bowl of cereal. I didn't mean to kick the dog. No, you don't know. Okay, I just know that, I mean, that's ominous. And and listening to that in the dark, I mean, you can't beat that, right? You can't beat that. It's almost criminal to interrupt it. It's just so perfect. I mean, what a way to start a program. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of man? The shadow knows. I mean, that is classic. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, that's entertainment right there. That's awesome. I got to back it up just a little bit. I know I'm going to back it up too far, but we got to hear that again because it's just so good, isn't it? I think it is. All right, here we go.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Now, I love that little musical interlude because it's like if my eyes are closed and I'm laying in the dark, it's like, okay, I'm slowly leaving this world and I'm going into the world of the shadow. All right, where are we going tonight? Where are we going to end up tonight? Well, I don't know. For the sake of this episode, I hope it ends up at a certain location. All right. But here we go. We're going to find out together. Are you ready? Got your eyes closed? Okay. Where are we about? We're going to open our eyes in a second. We're going to be somewhere. Where are we going to be?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Shadow's latest adventure starts in just a moment. But first, you motorists know that in these days of high speeds and superhighways, when you have to stop, you often have to stop fast. Just as fast on wet roads as on dry ones. And if there was ever a tire built to stop you quicker, safer in a wet road emergency, it's the new Goodrich Safety Silvertown with the amazing Lifesaver tread. For remember, this new Silvertown is the tire that won, hands down, in competitive non-skid road tests conducted by Pittsburgh Testing Laboratory, the largest independent testing laboratory in the country. If you want the quickest, safest stops you've ever had on a wet pavement, if you want the real blowout protection of the famous Goodrich Golden Ply, both at no extra cost, equip your car with these new life-saving Silvertowns without delay.
I had to laugh. Wasn't expecting a commercial right then, but that just shows you even in 1938, you needed some advertisements, right? You needed some commercials, even in 1938, because you're not doing these things for free. It kind of ruined the mood there a little bit. I was like, oh, that interlude is going to drift and we're going to open our eyes. And where did we open our eyes? A commercial about tires. No, don't ruin it. Okay. Save the commercial till later. Okay. All right. But now the commercial's over. All right. Okay. I know. I'm sorry. Hey, look, it's not my fault. I don't know what's happening either. We're listening to this together. Okay. Now let's reset. All right. Eyes closed. All right, just the shadow knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. All right, who knows? The shadow knows. Okay, interlude. We're drifting away. Eyes closed. Where are we going to open our eyes? And, well, where are we going to be?
The Shadow, Lamont Cranston, a man of wealth, a student of science, and a master of other people's minds, devotes his life to righting wrongs, protecting the innocent, and punishing the guilty. Cranston is known to the underworld as the Shadow. Never seen, only heard, his true identity is known only to his constant friend and aide, Margot Lane. Today's story, The Witch Drums.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, O godly people. Therefore, on this day of June the 15th, in the year of our Lord, 1692, Dame Anna West, having been tried and found guilty of the practice of witchcraft, and wherefore, having been sentenced to be hanged and burned, ye are gathered here on Gallows Hill to witness the triumph of righteousness over the forces of evil. Hear me, Dame Anna West. Recant, repent, that even in this hour of doom, thy soul may yet escape eternal hell fire.
Anger!
Man the witch!
Save our children from their evil kind! Light the fire!
Recant, repent, before it is too late. Repent.
I am innocent. Innocent. Hang her! Hang her!
Burner, light the fire!
Stop! Stop, ye crazed and benighted fools! It is my wife ye would hang and burn. What do ye know of witchcraft? By what right do ye condemn the woman of my house, the mother of my children?
Dame West has had a fair trial before a jury of her peers, Captain West. Ye must abide by that judgment.
Aye, tried by fools such as you, John Wood, who called my wife a witch for beating the Congo drums, which I, Captain Daniel West, brought from Africa with a cargo of slaves.
Captain, lest ye share the fate of your spouse.
I'll not be silent. Hear me, Minister Wood. For the deeds of this day, I'll put a curse on you and your family forever. Let the spirit of my wife, Anna West, who is about to die, Reverend Wood, haunt and torment thy offspring with the madness of the Congo drums, generation upon generation, until the last of thy bloodkin shall be dead.
Accursed voodoo
Dead! Dead!
He has brought the voodoo drums! Cursed voodoo drums!
Stop him! Hang the fool! Kill them!
Light the fire! Burn the fool! Burn the cursed drums!
Aye, burn us! Burn the Congo drums! It will do you no good! Not the fire of purgatory, nor the march of centuries will wipe out the curse, or the sound of the Congo drums.
Oh, wow, we got a lot going on there. So we did end up in Salem. It is 1692. It is the summer of 1692. All right. So we're somewhat within the realm of some historical accuracy here, but they want to hang and burn. So everyone seems to think this. Everyone, you talk about Salem. Oh, that's where they burned witches. No. So just so that everyone knows, no one was burned during the Salem witch trials. Now, I'm not expecting this to be historically accurate. I'm not. Because I'm going to put this in our series about Salem, this is a good opportunity to just remind us of some basic facts, all right? 19 people were hanged. One man was pressed to death with heavy stones, all right? Several died in jail waiting trial. And so burning at the stake, that happened in Europe, but not in Salem. If you go to the European witch trials, a lot of people were burned, okay? The European witch trials make Salem, look, like, wow. It's not as, it's still tragic and horrible, but I'm saying in comparison due to the quantity and the craziness in Europe, it's somewhat more, I don't know what the word for. It's just not as extreme comparatively to. It's still tragic and horrible, and you know how upset I get about everything that occurred. All right. So it's interesting. Why do we think popular culture keeps getting this wrong? Why? Movies show that as someone being burned. It's very common. I think the burning is more dramatic. I think maybe they just continue to conflate the European witch trials with the Salem witch trials. I think, and if you usually ask a lot of people about the Salem witch trials, they just say witches were burned, and they don't really seem to, and you're like, were they witches? Or were they innocent people accused? And were they burned? And like a lot of times they just don't know anything. And if you go to Salem, And when I am in Salem, and there's people everywhere walking around to different sites, and if you get into any conversations with people, a lot of the people there they don't know anything about the real history of Salem. They just know, ooh, it's a spooky place, and it's near Halloween and that kind of thing. And sometimes if you say, well, you ask a question, so what do you know about the Salem witch trials? Oh, they burned a bunch of people, and you're like, well, I'm glad you're here. And I would recommend you go visit here and go visit here and go visit here. And if you'll give me $75, I'll sit down and give you the entire history. I don't do that. But so it's interesting they got that. You also have this idea, I am going to curse you all the way down. Now, there are stories and some different accounts, depending on where you visit in Salem, about a certain curse that occurred. And maybe we'll do an episode about that curse. I think I've heard it like 3 different ways. So clearly I don't believe it's historically accurate, but it's a different curse than this, okay? And so, we could talk a long time about that. But also, they mentioned the fires of purgatory. The people in Salem were Puritans, okay? They did not like anything related to Catholicism, okay? They rejected Catholicism, so I don't think we'd have been hearing about the fires of purgatory from the Puritans, okay? I don't think that. But we get this dramatic scene, okay? Someone's accused, husband comes to her defense, there's a curse, something to do with drums, obviously from Africa. I did like the fact that he's a captain and he brought them from Africa, because if Salem is known for the witch trials, they often forget it's a seaport. And in fact, in Salem, there's a pirate museum about the pirates that were in that area and during around I don't know. I don't remember the specific dates, and a specific pirate, and there's a lighthouse there. And a lot of times you almost, like if you're in Salem, you almost forget that the ocean is right there. Yeah. I mean, I've been to the pirate museum, but I don't really go. I don't even think about the fact that we're that near to water. It doesn't feel that way, right? To me, it's weird. I get a completely different vibe for it. But so I do like the fact that it's a captain. So that's interesting. So we have, now the thing is, obviously the curse, basic storytelling. We're getting ready to go from 1692, boom. And we're about to jump forward to, well, obviously the time of the shadow. And I have a feeling that the curse is going to show up. Let's find out.
And here's another news bulletin. With the 1938 rainy season at its height, the South American crop is being threatened with destruction.
Lamont Cranston, now that we have managed to sneak away for a quiet weekend in Maine, visiting my Aunt Henrietta, do you think you could forget business and news?
All right, Margot. Turn off the radio. I just want to get the time.
Well, you got it. Did you hear the commentator say it was 1938? Isn't that accurate enough when you're on vacation?
What's the matter, Margot? Afraid I'll hear a news report of some crime and go tearing back the city to try to solve it?
It wouldn't be the first time, Lamont Cranston. Once an amateur criminologist, always an amateur criminologist. As for the shadow...
I'll try to keep the shadow in his place in the shadows, Margot.
Promise?
I promise.
Good. Isn't this an interesting town we're passing through, Lamont?
Yes. This is the town where they had the quaint custom of burning witches.
Seems incredible. Oh, then it was long ago.
Less than 300 years ago. Only a few generations, Margot.
What a stir the shadow would have caused in this town in those days, Lamont.
He might have saved quite a few innocent people from being burned at the stake.
Or been caught and burned at the stake himself. Thank heavens this is the 20th... Lamont, look at that crowd in the yard of that old house just ahead.
Looks like trouble of some sort.
Let's stop and see what it is. What a strange old house.
All right, but I thought you wanted a quiet weekend. No excitement.
I know, but just let's see what's going on.
Margot, wait a minute. They're pulling something out of that old well.
Why, it's a little boy, Lamont. It looks like...
Yes. Dead. Been dead for a long time, for looks of the body. I'm going over to see what it's all about.
and throw him in the well.
Hey, Tommy,
They kill him.
Tommy,
They
now,
kill
wait,
him.
my boy. You mustn't say things like that. You mustn't call poor Anna West a witch. You mustn't believe the stories people tell about Martha's great-grandmother.
But she's a witch, just like her great-grandma. She's always scaring us with those drums she has in the cellar. Now she's killed my brother. She killed him and threw him in the well.
Tommy,
She killed
Tommy,
him.
my boy, don't make it any harder for me to bear. Don't let Mother hear you talk like this.
Dad, and his great-granddaddy, old Captain West, put a curse on us. He did, didn't he? And his uncle told us about it.
Yes, Tommy, but you mustn't believe in things like that. Why, it happened more than 200 years ago.
Yes, but Ann and his uncle told us to keep away from here. Not to come near when she was down in the cellar beating those awful sounding old drums. Now look at her, standing there on the window just staring, watching them taking David out of the well where she threw him.
Tommy, my boy,
Where she
Tommy,
threw him.
don't, Tommy. I know it's hard losing a little brother like this.
I'm sorry, Reverend.
Well,
we couldn't help.
All right, so we've jumped to 1938. They made that abundantly clear. So we go from 1692 to 1938. That's what, 200 and, I don't know, it's math, 246 years. 200, you count it, 200 and something years. And obviously, as soon as now, I don't think they mention, I don't know if they've specifically mentioned Salem yet. I don't know if they have, but it's like, is this the town where they burned the witches? Of course, the same idea. So if they're in Salem, 1938. Now, it is fascinating that for a 1938 radio drama in September, that, you know, in some ways, it's weird to hear them talk about Salem, and other ways it's not. Historically, people did know about Salem. But if you know anything about the city of Salem, you don't have the museums. You don't even have I don't think the city purchases the land where the executions take place. I think the city purchased the land where the executions take place like 2 years after the airing of this show. I think they do so. I think it's about 2 years later. So, it's just there's no tourism, there's no witch city, there's no Halloween, there's no museums. There's not even a memorial. I don't think the first memorial was dedicated to like 1992 or something. The museum's open in the 70s. So it's very interesting that 1938, but you notice they're not giving, I'd have to go back. I don't know if they've mentioned Salem yet. Let's see if they mention it by name. But 1938, you're in the same town. The curse is mentioned. The drums are mentioned. And she's a witch. She's a witch. And you have tragedy because you have a body being pulled out of a well. So, I mean, wow, this is a program for the family to listen to on a Sunday evening in 1938. All right.
Help overhearing. Is there anything we can do? Take him home, perhaps.
Thank you, but we live just across the street next to my church. Come, Tommy, there is nothing more we can do here. We must go break the news to Mother as gently as we can.
All right, Dad. But Anna West did it. I know she did it.
No, Tommy, don't be bitter. Hatred won't bring little David back to us.
Dad,
Well?
let's go home. Here comes her uncle, Jonathan West. He told us to keep away.
Hold on a minute, Reverend Wood. I want to talk to you.
Not now, Jonathan West. I must go and tell my wife our boy's body has been found.
What I have to say will only take a minute, and you'll listen now. You know what's good for you and your family.
Yes, Jonathan?
Just this. I heard your son accusing my niece and ward of murder. I heard him calling her a witch.
I'm sorry. He didn't know what he was saying. Try to understand that he's just lost his only brother.
I know that more. It isn't the first time the children of this neighborhood have stood in this yard screaming witch, but it's the last. I'm warning you. There'll be no more of it. My ward, Anna West, my brother's child, may not be quite normal, but she's not a witch. Even if she is the great-grandchild of one that was condemned and burned at the stake by your illustrious forefather.
I'm sorry for what happened so long ago, but you yourself are to blame if that old legend will not die.
Legend? Is it a legend that your house and mine has been cursed for generations by that bloody deed on Gallows Hill 200 years ago?
The curse was forgotten until you came back from Africa to rule your brother's home, send his widow to an early grave, and deny his child the right to a normal, happy life.
My sister-in-law was mad, and her child Anna's cursed with the same affliction.
Then why isn't she being treated? Why do you keep her locked up in a dismal house, without companionship, with voodoo drums for playthings, with her white face and haunted eyes staring from shuttered windows? Is it any wonder that town children are afraid and call her witch?
Say what you like. It's stupid curiosity made one of your sons prowl around the grounds of my property. He fell in that well and was drowned. Now I'm warning you, keep your boy Tom away from here, or something may happen to him, and curse that our family has put on yours, the curse of old Captain West will be fulfilled. Remember it. A curse on your house until the last of your bloodkin shall be dead.
May the Lord forgive you for your mockery and blasphemy, Jonathan West. Come, Tommy. We must go to your mother now.
Remember, Reverend Wood, I've warned you. Keep away from me and mine.
Lamont.
All right, we got the curse. It is interesting. The people clearly still believe in witches. They still believe in curses in 1938. That's still very much there. Of course, you have a pastor. You have the descendants of the people involved. So you have the continuation of this family line and this curse. So what do you think? Was the boy murdered? Was he pushed into the well? Or was he sneaking around because of paranoia and suspicion and fell in? Who did it? Do you know? Who did it? Was it a witch? That man sounds pretty bitter. He could have done it, right? What? Do you know? All right, well, I mean, you can try to figure out the mystery, but let's see what happens.
Did you see the look in that man's eyes?
Yes, Margot, I did. It's been a long time since I've seen such murderous hate in the eyes of any human being.
I wonder if that child's death was accidental.
I wonder.
Look at that poor girl. She's still standing by the window watching, Lamont. Something horrible about all this. I have a feeling this is the beginning, not the end of a tragedy.
Margot, have you forgotten we're on a vacation bound for a pleasant weekend in Maine? You made me promise.
Do you want to be released from that promise?
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. There's something going on here in that house, something horrible.
Do you think the shadow could end it?
Do you want him to try?
Yes. Do what you can, Lamont. Try. And I'll help you any way I can.
All right, Margot. We'll stop here, and perhaps the shadow can discover what's masquerading in the guise of madness and witchcraft.
What happened at the coroner's inquest, Lamont?
Nothing. A routine verdict of accidental death. No wonder there's so many murders in this country.
Why do you say that, Lamont?
That child was dead before he ever landed in the bottom of that well, and from the way the body looked, he died of strangulation, not drowning. What did you learn about this man, Jonathan West?
Plenty. In my...
All right, we're having, my software here is crashing. All right, hang on. My software here is crashing. We're gonna finish this one way or the other. Hang on. We're gonna finish this. All right. We may lose the recording, but we're gonna finish this. All right. I'm gonna go back here. See 17. Let's get right back to where we were. All right. Now he's figured out that hey, this was not an accident. The child was strangled before they were pushed into the well, thrown into the well. They wouldn't be pushed into the well. They were strangled, then thrown into the well. So he's determined it is murder because, you know, the shadow knows everything. He's got it figured out. All right. So, well, now we can speculate who did it. All right, let's see if we can pick this back up where we stopped.
He died of strangulation, not drowning. What did you learn about this man, Jonathan West?
Plenty. In my role of inquiring reporter, I found a lot of people willing to talk about him. He managed a trading post in Africa, in the Congo. Came here when his brother died 5 years ago.
What about the girl we saw in the window, his ward? And what about her mother?
The mother died a year after her husband apparently went insane and killed herself.
And the girl?
Well, apparently Anna West was quite normal until 2 years ago. Then she stopped going out of the house. The neighbors began hearing those voodoo drums, and all the neighborhood children became afraid of that house, and the witch stories started.
Find out anything else?
Yes, one more thing. It seems that Jonathan West brought an old colored man back with him from the Congo. He's been taking care of the girl. He's always with her.
It's like history repeating itself. Old Captain West had a Congo slave in that house 300 years ago. He was the cause of his wife's being accused of witchcraft. Well, here we are.
Be careful of Jonathan West. If you go in that house, Lamont, he's dangerous.
I know, Margot. Even a jackal is dangerous if he's cornered.
I'll keep the shortwave tuned in on our regular band. If you run into trouble and need help, let me know right away.
All right, Margot. But I think this is one case the shadow can handle alone.
Now, what's interesting is you kind of have Africa, slave. If you know the history of the Salem witch trials, what was her name? Tishaba was one of the early, well, I think she was the first one accused. And now she wasn't, I can't remember where she was from. Don't quote me right now. I can't remember exactly where she was from, but she was a slave, and the young girls accused her of being a witch. So clearly they're utilizing, this is what they're doing. They're utilizing certain aspects of the Salem witch trial story. They're taking some of the facts and then just kind of creating kind of a murder mystery that is kind of just, the Salem part is just a part of it, because the Salem witch trials themselves, they do capture the imagination of people trying to understand, how did everyone lose their minds over that summer of 1692? What was going on? And is it religious extremism? Is it paranoia? Is it fear? And there's so many lessons to learn about it, from everything from conspiracy theories to politics to so many things. So, even in 1938, obviously someone thought, hey, they were fascinated enough with it to at least utilize some of the information to create this murder mystery. So let's find out how the shadow is going. Well, he knows. So what is he going to know? And how is he going to? Let's just see what happens.
Come on, listen. Do you hear that?
Yes, drums. Voodoo drums, all right.
Oh, that poor Anna West can't know what she's doing. Beating on those drums in that dark house with little David Wood lying dead in his coffin just across the street.
Margot, how old is this girl, this Anna West? I didn't get a good look at her when she was standing in the window this afternoon.
She's 18. Why?
I mean, it turned out to be an important factor, Margot. Jonathan West is her guardian, and she'll soon be of age.
Maybe it is, Lamont. I heard her father left quite a fortune. You wouldn't believe it to look at that house, dismal and dilapidated. Why, they haven't even any electricity, just lamps and candles.
So I noticed. Listen, Margot, there's a storm coming up. Don't leave the car. Stay here. The only way I can find out the truth is to go into the house as the shadow.
Now we have some good storytelling going on there, because we have a storm. We just got to add, something to it. You got, many shows, you throw in the storm, that's always adds a little bit of atmosphere and feeling. So the story, I think it's great to add that in. Now let's see how he's going to find out what's about to happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, while we're waiting for the climax of this thrilling shadow adventure, let me remind you that when clouds gather and it starts to rain, every road you travel on may automatically become a skid track.
The shadow knows when thousands are killed or injured every year by crazy, car-spinning skids. Don't you owe it to your family to give them the utmost protection against this danger?
Motorists, at last you can have real protection on wet, slippery roads. How? By equipping your car with new Goodrich Silvertowns with a sensational Lifesaver tread. This tread is new, different from anything you've ever seen. It is wider and flatter with never-ending spiral bars that act on a wet road like a whole battery of windshield wipers. Sweep the water right and left. Force it out through deep drainage grooves. Make a dry track for the husky Silvertown to grip. And talk about your fast stops, ask any of your friends who have switched to this new Goodrich Silvertown. They'll tell you that the Lifesaver tread gives quicker, safer stops on wet roads than they ever dreamed possible. And don't forget, on dry roads, too, this new Goodrich Silvertown gives you the utmost in driving security and control. Yes, motorists, it hugs dry roads, dries wet roads. It's the safest thing on wheels.
Now, you could be skeptical and say the reason they added the storm is because they were going to go to their sponsor, which is a tire that supposedly dries the road as you drive, washes the rain away so that you stay connected to the road and you don't hydroplane and skid off the road and have a crash. So maybe they just added it in for that. I'm going to go, no, the story needs a little bit of drama, okay? But it's just funny. Even then, you had the commercials, right? You had the commercials, see? When sometimes we say things change and they don't really change, do they? All right, let's get back to the murder mystery.
Mwambi!
Now what do you want, Mr. West?
Come here.
Mwambi not afraid for big whip like girl.
Hold your tongue. You'll be afraid of this whip if I give you a good taste of it. After this, you come when I call you, and come quick, you Congo devil.
Mwambi not afraid for you. Mwambi not afraid for any white man, even in his own land. You are devil too, Mr. West.
You hold your tongue and do as you're told, or I'll send you back to Africa. The authorities would like to get their hands on you for what you did to the commissioner's wife.
I no killed commissioner's wife. She laugh at Mwambi's magic, and God of voodoo kill her.
Yes, but whose hand held the knife that cut her throat? Never mind that.
All right, so we got slavery, a guy whipping someone. We have voodoo, we have Africa, we have murder. I mean, they're throwing everything into this. So it's not, again, it's not the Salem witch trials by any stretch of the imagination. It's left and gone all beyond that. It's bringing everything that people could be fearful of. Voodoo, Africa. Okay, I mean, that's all, it's foreign, it's different, it's scary kind of thing, especially because we have a tendency to fear that which we do not know and which we have not experienced or have not been around. It's always more intimidating, frightening when we're not familiar with it. So they're bringing all of that in, and they're really making this guy out to be pretty messed up and evil, and the way he's treating people and acting, and sounds like a lot of crazy things have happened.
I thought I told you to keep my niece Anna away from those drums, from beating those drums, tonight of all nights.
I forget.
Yes? You're going to forget once too often, Mwambi.
Voodoo drums talk to spirit of dead boy.
Listen to me, you dirty heathen. Go ahead and talk that rot to Anna. You've got her believing it, but don't try it on me. I know your tricks, you faker.
Voodoo drums say boy dead now, but soon white man die.
Well, all right. If your cursed voodoo drums know so much, what man's going to die?
A white man in this house.
Why, you treacherous old man. I'm the only white man in this house, and if there's any more killing, it'll be you that'll get it, not me.
More than one white man in this house. Mwambi no.
What are you talking about? What's the matter with you? Get down in the cellar and take those drums away from Anna. Take her to her room and keep her there. And another thing, don't give her any more of that stuff you've been feeding her.
You say make her life crazy?
That could wait. There's plenty of time. If only you hadn't let that kid get in the house.
Maybe white police find out how he died.
They won't. They think it was an accident. They're burying him tomorrow, but we've got to be careful for a while. Now get down there and stop those infernal drums.
Yes. Mwambi go, but you watch out. Danger close to you. Danger in shadows. White man die tonight.
Trying to throw a scare into me, are you? Well, I'll be finished with you pretty soon. You and your voodoo nonsense, Mwambi.
Voodooism is a dangerous weapon, Jonathan West.
What? Who said that? Mwambi, you devil, if this is one of your traitors...
Your servant, Mwambi, has nothing to do with my presence in this house. Jonathan West.
And who? He knew. He warned me.
Yes. Mwambi is not a faker. His powers told him of another presence in this room. He could not see me any more than you can see me now. But he knew I was here. That's why he left so quickly.
No. No, this can't be. I'm hearing things. I must be crazy.
No, Jonathan West, you are sane. Quite sane. And I am real. Not the fancy of a mind tormented by remorse. Remorse for the murder of an innocent child.
Who are you? How did you get here? What do you want?
I am the Shadow, Jonathan West.
Now, what's fascinating here is you've got all the voodoo, you've got witches, you've got a curse, and ultimately, where is the true evil? Who knows what evil lurks in the heart of man, the shadow? The real evil is what's inside us. In some ways, the shadow sometimes knows or has a better understanding of human depravity than Christians, okay? Because, I mean, that's where the episode is leading you. It's not the voodoo, it's not the witch, it's this man and the evil in his heart. And it sounds like there's greed. It sounds like he's trying to make the girl go crazy because he's obviously going to try to do something to get ultimately the inheritance and all the money. A kid was snooping around, obviously saw something. It sounds like he had that kid killed. It sounds like, I mean, the evil of man, not the evil of witchcraft or voodoo.
And I have come to take your ward, Anna West, out of this house before she shares the fate of the child you murdered and flung in the well.
The shadow?
Yes. Yes, the shadow.
You? Oh, you're wrong. I didn't murder the boy. It was an accident.
Yes. An accident by design. Just as all the things are happening in this house are accidents by design. If there is a gun in that desk behind you, don't waste your time. It won't help you.
If I could only see you.
Many a criminal has made that wish.
You are in this room, not just a voice.
The lamplight casts deep shadows.
Now we'll see if a gun will help me or not.
Others have tried and failed.
Maybe they have, but I won't fail. Maybe this whip will tell me where you are, Shot.
You handle a bullwhip well. Like a man who has used it often.
You devil! I'll find you. You're here, somewhere. So you're there. Mawambi was right. He was right. He said a man would die in this house tonight. And that man is you, Shadow, you. But there'll be no evidence, because the house will burn to the ground. I've broken the lamp, Shadow, but you can't hear the crackling of the frame. Mawambi! Mawambi! Where's Anna?
Be still. There is death in this house. The gods of voodoo are angry.
Where's my ward, Anna? The house is on fire. In a few minutes, the whole town will be here.
Let them come.
Listen to me, Mawambi. If they get in this house and take Anna away, if they get the truth from her, you won't have to go back to Africa to be hung. She saw you strangle the boy. She'll remember. Where is she? Now, quick, tell me.
If Mowambi die, you die too. It is the law of the white man. Mowambi knows.
Yes, I know. That's why we've got to get rid of her. We've got to do it now. We can't wait any longer. The house is on fire, I tell you. Where is she?
You let her burn in fire, like wife of old Captain West.
Yes. No one will know. It's even better than the way I planned. With Anna West out of the way, I'll never have to account for the money her father left her. Hurry up, there's no time to lose. Where is she?
Then you give me money to go back to my people?
Yes, you'll get what I promised you.
The gods of voodoo say no. Say I die soon.
You and your voodoo gods, don't try that stuff on me. You know what I think of voodoo. And here's a taste of what you'll get if you don't tell me what you've done with that girl.
No. Mowambi tell.
Where is she?
In the wine cellar. She can't get out. Door he barred.
Good. Then the house will burn right overhead. Burn her.
It is interesting that they are going with the idea that the voodoo is somehow real. He seems to be getting actual information of what's going to happen. So they are allowing at least a supernatural part of it to be there. But the real evil is, well, this man and all of his scheming and planning and greed and, yeah, all the things that he has done.
You're alive. Fire is catching quickly. In a few minutes, no one will know whatever happened.
White man who is in house, he know.
You were right about that, Mwambi. But there's no need to worry about him. He's lying on the floor, dead. What's left of him. In the room where I started the fire.
You are wrong, Jonathan West. Fooled by the oldest trick in the world. You shot and heard me fall, but I was not hit.
Come back, Mwambi. You're not running out to leave me deal with the shadow alone. You've been boasting about your voodoo powers. Use them now.
No. It is the spirit of the evil one that speaks. Listen. The drums. They speak, but no hands touch them.
Listen, Mwambi. Hear the message of the drums.
Death. Death for Mwambi.
Listen to me, Mwambi. Listen to me. You have committed murder for Jonathan West. Now he means to murder you. You will never get out of this place alive. Never.
No. No, don't listen to him, Mwambi. I wouldn't do that. You've served me well.
But he's through with you.
No, Mwambi.
You've killed for him. Now he means to kill you.
No.
Hear me, Mwambi.
I hear you. I hear you, Shadow. The drums foretold.
Keep away from me. Drop that knife, you heathen devil.
No. You plan to kill me. I kill you.
You asked for it, Mwambi.
It's kind of messed up because the Shadow is just kind of like, now he's kind of manipulating them to basically go after each other. So I guess it's his sense of justice. So maybe then there isn't any actual power in the voodoo. That the Shadow is going along with this idea so to use this to manipulate, and now turning the two people who've done evil against each other. So in a sense, the two who've done evil are now trapped by the evil they've done themselves by turning on each other. And well, I guess justice will be served in the philosophy of this show.
There. We die together. I by you gun, you by my knife. You, Mwambi, die, but you die first. Drums, speak.
Mwambi, let me out. Let me out. I can't breathe. Mwambi. Uncle Jonathan.
They are dead. They meant to kill you. Now, quick. Get out of the cellar.
Oh, I can't see. Oh, I can't see.
Follow the sound of my voice. Come, quickly.
Where are you? Help me.
This way. Follow my voice. Follow my voice and you'll be safe.
How did you ever get poor Anna West out of that house, Lamont?
It was easy once I succeeded in turning Mwambi against West. They killed each other. How's the girl when you saw her last?
Scared. And she kept talking about a strange voice that led her out of the cellar just before the house caved in. But aside from that, she seems perfectly normal.
Anna West will be perfectly normal now that Mwambi is dead. Kept the girl in a hypnotic trance.
Oh.
It's only a matter of time before he drove the girl insane with those infernal drums.
Well, she's in good hands now. Reverend Wood and his wife have taken her in. Look, Lamont, we're passing the city limit.
Yes, Margot. Yes, out of the city. Out of the city where a fanatic tried to perpetuate a curse made 300 years ago, but in so doing met his own fate by the superstitious revenge he himself wished to inflict upon others. Jonathan West and Mwambi met the fate which the forces of justice eventually mete out to all criminals, such as they.
You have been listening to a dramatized version of one of the many copyrighted stories which appear in the Shadow magazine, now on sale at your local newsstand.
Crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The shadow knows.
So the justice was the shadow manipulating them, utilizing the superstition, and ultimately to turn them against one another. But just note, the evil there was inside the two men. The evil was there. Now we could look at it. Well, the slave, did he have a lot of choice? I mean, the slave kind of gets. Like he's a slave. What is he going to do? He's getting whipped. He's getting beat. So he goes along with this. But then you kind of use his superstition against him to turn him against West so that, well, then they kill each other. But don't you see the slave more as a victim in this? Like, why does he have to die? I mean, you're the shadow. Why didn't you just take out West? But because I guess the slave had done horrible things, but he did so because this other person was telling him to do so. And it sounds like he didn't have a lot of choice anyway. So I don't, it's weird the way the morality of the story is a little off, a little odd to me from that perspective. But I do like the fact that inevitably the evil is inside people, right? That it's the corruption inside of human beings that leads to this. You don't even need all of the superstition. You don't need witchcraft. You just have what's inside of us. And it was interesting that this man who had been so evil kept referring to the slave as a heathen. You heathen, you heathen, you heathen, as if he somehow had moral superiority. Okay. And the things he was doing. So that is kind of fascinating as well. I don't think they never mentioned Salem by name, I don't think. I don't think in the title of the episode does, but I think maybe they didn't want to do that. Maybe they wanted to change some facts. I don't know. Maybe the reason they didn't want to, if they would have said Salem precisely, if they did, and maybe they did, but if they did, then maybe they felt like they would have had to stay more accurate with the facts. They borrowed some of them, but yeah, kind of an interesting story with the shadow. And I don't know. How do you feel about the morality of that? How do you feel about the morality of it? I mean, you got West and all of his planning and scheming and greed and horrible things he's doing and he's utilizing the slave to do many of those things. But the slave, I feel like isn't he forced? So it's just kind of weird. The shadow's idea is like, hey, he'll shoot you. Basically, I'm going to manipulate that you turn on each other. One's going to get stabbed. The other one's going to get shot and justice is served. I don't know. That is odd. That is an interesting way to end it from a moral standpoint. So what do you feel about the morality of it? And in it, I think that probably the lesson I'm going to take from this is this. We spend our lives, I think in many cases, looking for all the external evil in the world. We're afraid of this and we're scared of this and this could happen and this and this and this. And the true evil, the true danger is literally inside all of our hearts. That's where the evil inside our hearts, that's the issue. And the shadow knows the evil that lurks inside the heart of a man, but we need to know the evil that lurks inside our own hearts. We need to be, I have said this before, that the greatest fear we need to have, obviously we need to fear God, but other than God, we need to fear ourselves. We need to fear what's inside of us. There is depravity inside of us. And I don't think we ever grasp just how evil it is and where it can lead us. We're all totally depraved. We all have total depravity. It doesn't mean that we're always going to do all depravity, but that depravity manifests itself in different ways. And sometimes we're shocked, and sometimes we have a way of not seeing the evil inside of us. We have 20/20 vision when it comes to the evil and threat and danger and ungodly and heathens of all of that outside of us. But we're very much more refined when it comes to ourselves. Well, I have a weakness. I struggle. I didn't really mean it that way, and we have a different way. So. Maybe, I don't know. It's just the morality there. I don't know what to take from that. The shadow is standing right there and manipulates the entire situation so that two people will kill each other and justice is served. And one of those people happens to be a slave who's being whipped. I don't know. I just feel like maybe the girl and the slave should have been released, and then I'm not saying the slave gets away with everything, but I don't know how much. I don't know. All right. Well, that's kind of an interesting episode tonight. I've never done that before. We had some technical difficulties. The software I used to record completely froze up. That's also the software I was playing the audio from. And so, but we got it back really quick. I'll have to take the recording from Sermon Audio. Same thing happened last night, so I don't know what's going on there. But maybe I'll check to make sure there's not an update or anything, and see if we can get that fixed. So, but I hope you enjoyed our trip to September the 11th, 1938. On that evening, the Shadow premiered the Witch Drums of Salem. And now here we are in 2026, a little after midnight. All right. Good night.